Hi, everyone. I'm Sue, known as Howards,
And I'm Heather, known as Hersey.
and we want to invite you with us as we smash ageism.
That's right, aging should not stop us from living our lives.
And it won't. Hi, Hersey. I think we should begin.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. My name's Heather Hersey. I am an aging life care manager in Waltham, Mass. And this is...
I'm Howards. Yes. I am an attorney in Brookline, Massachusetts. I've been practicing many years. I'm basically a criminal defense attorney with a focus on domestic violence, elder abuse, discrimination, and lately, by default, COVID.
Whoa.
I'm great. Hersey and I are friends. We work together occasionally. We consult together. Hersey was great to me in my trying to get an appointment for my COVID shot, which was beyond a nightmare. I was borderline hysterical. So Hersey, what are you up to these days?
Working a lot, actually. And I just want to say a little bit about the purpose of the show. We're calling it age smashing because we have found that once we become a certain age, like maybe over 50 or 60, all of a sudden we're looked at differently by the world. There's an age bias, and we basically want to empower people to kind of take back what it means to grow older and to fight that, to fight those misperceptions that are carried by society. So one thing that I just as an example, so last week I was at an appointment with a client. This client is not that old, 83, professor at Harvard, Brandeis, et cetera, is still writing and publishing.
Wow.
She was in a wheelchair because it was a long distance for us to go from the car to where the appointment. So we did it that way. But, you know, she's just competent. She's a really bright woman. We were in the appointment, and the people, the doctor and his assistants, are looking at me and asking me the questions.
So they didn't think she could answer?
That she could perfectly well answer.
But they didn't think.
Well, that is just a very common thing that I see in my work, is people addressing me versus addressing their patient. And the good news is that this woman is able to say, talk to me. And I will say to people, please ask your patient. But that's just one of so many examples of the ageism that we experience.
You know, Heather, recently I was at my primary care, speaking of doctors, and I guess Medicare, which I'm on, thank God, has a series of questions.
Yep.
So the first, oh my gosh, I was really offended, and I don't offend easily. The first thing is they give you 3 words and they ask you to remember them. They don't tell you that you have to remember them for the hour you're there for the appointment. But I had learned from the last time, so I quietly wrote them down on my wrist. And they didn't check it. So when they asked me, I knew them immediately.
That's cheating, you know.
I understand that, but it was just a little social cheating because I just didn't want to get into it with the doctor, okay?
Right.
I remember, and then a whole list of questions. Do you have bars in the bathroom? Do you have bars in the shower? Do you still drive? Do you use a seatbelt? Are you safe at home? Which I think is good, but I think it's a little bit, assess who your patient is.
Mm-hmm.
As you're saying, I'm perfectly capable of standing on my own. I'm perfectly capable of driving so far. I'm perfectly capable of responding, and I'm perfectly capable of the good fight as an attorney. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, and then the other question was, did you drive here? I felt like saying, no, I took a helicopter. I mean, what do you think?
Well, you know, how about, are you retired? You know, a couple of years ago, I went on a trip, and I don't know how many people asked me, are you retired? I mean, I'm 63 now. I was probably 60 or 61 then. Why do we have to be retired? I mean, what about us says I'm retired? Well, I was on a 3-week trip to Africa, but I mean, aside from that, you know,
you could take a vacation. You might have.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was taking a vacation. Or that we're more forgetful, or that if we are able to take a job, we're bagging groceries in the supermarket versus even at the cash register, or heaven forbid, being the head of a corporation or a high-level person or a nonprofit. And there are so many people I meet who are so competent and capable, despite being way above 60, 70, 80s, 90s. And the perception is that we get old, we get feeble, we can't keep things in our mind.
That we're not current, that we're not cool, that we don't change our
Exactly,
clothes,
that we're not
don't
physically
shower.
fit. So,
Exactly.
you know, as times change, okay, now, for a couple of fun facts, which Howard hates, but I just have to slip them in because I want the viewers to get their money's worth. Life expectancy here in the US has changed. It's increased. 1960, it was just under 70. 2017, it was just under 80. And by 2060, it'll be close to 86. So,
Wow.
you know, as it changes, we're living longer, we're doing more. It's like 60
And
is the new 50.
we want to do more.
You
I
wanna
don't want
do
to stop. I don't
right.
think I see my retired friends, and I have to say, retirement has its benefits, but I think I have to say this, and there may be a pushback. I think you lose touch. You're not as current. You're not as with it. You're not, even though you try, you're not as up on things, and you get your world shrinks. My mother used to say, as you age, your world shrinks. Don't let that happen.
That is
And
true.
true.
And I know it's so hard, you know, people who are used to working. I'm working with a couple right now, and he's a retired physician. He taught medical school, he taught nursing students, he had a practice, very well respected, and has had a major cognitive decline in the past couple of years. He's no longer working. Now, he worked until he was 85. Just fine.
So, do you think the cognitive decline was because he's no longer working and he's not as challenged or stressed? I think work stress happens to be good if it's balanced.
Yeah, I agree too. I don't know that 100%. He has been diagnosed. He's gone through a full workup. But I think that not being as challenged and not being out every day can contribute.
You know, I found that with COVID. I'm used to getting up, racing to court, being late for court, getting yelled at because I'm late for court, missing a red light. So, and then I panic because, I know I'm going to be late for court. But I missed that. Thank goodness I have a little dog and tiny bladder, so I have to take him out every 2 to 3 hours. But I really miss the social interaction of dealing with the people that I meet during my day, because that's not happening. The courts are pretty much closed here. I don't know how about the rest of the country, but maybe things will open up.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, slowly happening, but we've got this other wave coming. And frankly, and I think this may be a topic for us in the future, I mean, loneliness can be deadly. You know, yes, COVID is deadly, but people who are alone and have not had visits from family or friends, or especially older people, you know, I mean, who, you know, at least we can do some work from home.
Right.
It's a real problem. So I just want to tell you this.
I will say, I'm interrupting. I have never watched so much television in my entire life, to the point I have to have eye drops because I have eye strain. Honestly, that's excessive.
No, I've never been a big TV watcher, but that has changed.
Yes.
I mean, I binge watched. So just a little bit about the purpose of this program, and kind of that I just want to make an acknowledgement. I heard this man, Mark Middleton, who is a journalist. He's a media person, and he is in Florida, and he has a program called Rebranding Aging, Growing Bolder. And I heard him speak at my national conference a couple of years ago, and he was just a dynamo. And he spoke of this woman. There are the senior games every year, which I never knew about.
What are they?
They're like a mini Olympics, or they're like, it's here in the United States. I think it's usually in the Southwest. And they have competition. They have a triathlon. They have running. They have bicycling. They have speed walking. Quite a few things. And your group, everybody does it together, but it's like you're
in a bubble.
You know, like you're kind of like in a 10-year category with people your age. There were people in their 90s who were like biking, running, walking, and there were quite a few people. And I was just, when I went to look this up, I was amazed. But the story I heard from Mark Middleton that really, really inspired me along these lines is that he met a woman at these games, and her story was that she had a broken hip in her 90s. She'd always been active. And after the surgery, she and her daughter saw a physical therapist who told the mother that she would never walk without a walker again. She didn't like that, nor did the daughter. They found a new physical therapist. Okay, a couple of years pass. What is this woman doing? She's in the senior games at 101, 102. She ran. I mean, yes, in a sense, adjusted running. She wasn't, but she did it.
Good for her.
Walker. And I was just really taken by that. Good for her.
Good for her. I'm wondering if we could start senior games in Massachusetts.
That either that or travel out there.
That's an idea. Now that we can travel again, we're both fully immortal.
We are both vaccinated.
Yeah. So
that was the plus about age. Being a little older was getting that.
I would love to do that. I think that would be great. Absolutely great. Well, this is our first show. I hope we'll get some feedback as to what topics people would like us to talk about. And quite frankly, this isn't going to be all serious. We're kind of fun-loving agers. Yep. We want to keep having fun. We want to keep working. And we want to hear from you, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
Say one thing. We have a fabulous young videographer, Skylar. He is amazing. He has guided us. He has counseled us. He has chastised us. He has worked with us every step of the way. So if anybody's interested in doing a video or has a need for a video, please contact Skylar. So what are you doing the rest of the day, Heather?
I am actually going to check on one of my people and fill her med box. And then I'm going to take another lady who's 94 to an appointment, who is remarkably robust and healthy. Both of these women are. And then I'm going to play golf later this afternoon.
Good for you. Good for you.
Knock it out of the park. Well, that's not quite the expression, but you know what I mean.
Well, have a wonderful day.
Thanks. So it's really good to see you, Howard.
This is a once a month show that we're doing. So let us hear from you. And
please let us know what you're interested in. And you know what? Stick with us.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we need to all work to combat the ageism together. So even if we just put one thought in your head today, thanks for watching.
Okay,
and
bye.
Skylar, thank you.
Skylar.
Bye, everybody.